So for this video supplement on sections of a research report, I'd like to share with you two examples from two published research papers. So I'll show you first a published survey of community telecenters in the Caribbean, and another one is from a journal article on ICT-enabled distance education development in the Philippines. So let's start with this one, the first one. So this research report on survey of community telecenters in the Caribbean is submitted by an organization primarily to its funding agencies. So you see here the funding agencies, the International Development Research Center, and another one, telecenter.org. So this was done by a group called Fundación Taigué in preparation for the Caribbean Community Telecenters Workshop. So let's go through it. So they start off with a disclaimer, and then they have an extensive table of contents wherein they also put in the different tables and other elements in the report. And they start off with what they call their executive summary. And then the background of the study. They also have here the methodology that they use for their study, and then here they used a questionnaire and the specific website that they use to develop the questionnaire. And then they've also listed the parameters or the different elements that they placed in their questionnaire that they wanted answered from their respondents. And they've tabulated, for example, the telecenters that answered their survey from across the Caribbean region. Okay. So here they've placed in a lot of tables, and here now are the results of their study. Right? So it's good that they've had both a mixture of text in their results as well as figures. Here, for example, showing the location of the different telecenter networks in the Caribbean region, and then also tables of the country and type of telecenters. So you have here a lot of tables as well. And they've also here listed the resulting data that they got from their questionnaire. So for example, they placed here, based on all the questionnaire, the surveys they've submitted, and the telecenters that submitted that returned the replies, they came out with data. For example, what's the length of time of operations of the CECs in that area. So for example, they say that in this table you see that let's say, for example, 45% of the telecenters that responded had been in operation for between 1 and 5 years. So many are registered, for example. Ownership profile, what are their development objectives, who are the main target groups of their telecenters, population size served, etc., etc. So this is a very comprehensive report in terms of the content that they placed in the different sections. So they've also tabulated the lessons learned. So I'm just quickly scanning through this so that we can see the different sections of this research report. And then they've also tabulated, for example, most significant contributor to the success of telecenters. Okay, based on their questionnaires, what were the main challenges that those telecenters faced? Weekly hours of service of networks, the types of training they offered. Okay, so lessons learned again, and they've compared individual versus network telecenters. So there's a good mix here in terms of illustrating the results or presenting the results. There's a lot of text-based reporting of results, as well as graphical representation, like what we have graphs here, and more tables. And then we now go to the section wherein they provided the analysis and conclusions. So it's also tabulated here, or boxed, should I say. So it's a fairly long analysis and conclusion, and it ends here. So notice that they did not list their references. So this is in comparison to our next example, which is this article, ICT enabled distance education in community development in the Philippines. So comparing this with the previous one, this has actually been published in an academic journal called Distance Education. So I wrote this journal article along with some of my colleagues as part of a research project that we did in some telecenters in Mindanao, wherein we piloted specific content on health for distance education involving communities. Okay, so the sections here are more distinct because we had to follow the format that was prescribed by the publisher. So here, as an academic publication, you have to start out with this one, the abstract, and then the introduction, right, with introduction to the project, and then a description of the research project itself, the project research objectives, the study site. So in particular, we did our piloting of ICT based hygiene education modules in Barangay Maguinda in Agusan del Sur, near the city of Butuan. Okay, so we described other elements of the project. This also includes the methods, the methodology, the study designs that we did, and also the interventions, the tools that we used. And this is the section on project implementation and the results that we got from implementing the project. So here we have some tables. For example, this is a table of levels of hygiene awareness before and after the modules that we've developed. WASH modules. WASH meaning water, sanitation, hygiene. So we have here the discussion of the results section, and then other activities that were conducted during the study, including sustainability planning. We've also recorded people's overall reactions to the project, the different stakeholders, the final outcomes, and we have here our recommendations and conclusions. Right. And one section here that we placed that is unique to this article is a section on acknowledgements, because we wanted to acknowledge the international institutions that gave us funding, as well as our local project partners in the Philippines like DOST in Caraga region, Department of Education, Philippine Council for Health Research Development, and other local stakeholders, as well as notes on who the contributors were in terms of writing up this research. And we end this research report by listing the references, and we used the format again as prescribed by the publisher. So there you have it, 2 examples of research reports out, and then we looked at the various sections.